Hi, welcome back to another Heather Mac Reacts. Today we're going through some Am I the A-hole stories. If you like videos like this, make sure you subscribe because I post 5 times a week, every single week. And if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's get into this first Am I the A-hole story. This says, am I the a-hole for asking my wife not to hang out with her friend who has a different lifestyle than us because I'm afraid of losing her? Sweetheart, if that's all it takes to lose her, you might not have her as well as you think you do. Let's get to the story. Me, 37 male, and my wife, 35 female, have been married for 14 years. We met when we were both in college. She studied literature, I studied engineering, and was getting into tech. We were dating for 2 years when she got pregnant and we decided to get married and start a family. We decided together that I would work and she would be a stay-at-home mom because it would be difficult for her to find a well-paying job with her major, and I was already starting to earn quite well. I've also always had a fairly conservative approach to family life, and I was happy to be a sole provider. She always wanted to be a mom and was looking forward to being a stay-at-home mom. Right now, our children are 14 and 12 years old. I have a good job and my wife stays home taking care of the house. This arrangement has always suited her, but recently she has begun to mention that she feels a bit lonely and lacks friends, especially now that the children are older and she has more time to herself. Indeed, our social life mostly consists of meetings with my work colleagues and their wives, whom my wife can hardly call friends. That's why I was happy at first when my wife ran into her best friend from college, let's call her Anna. According to my wife, they got along so well as if they didn't have an almost 14-year-old break in contact. When my wife got pregnant, she drifted apart from her college friends. They started meeting for coffee quite often. When my wife returned from those meetings, she was overjoyed and excited and told me a lot about Anna. It was then that I began to worry. During the time my wife had no contact with her, Anna got her PhD in literature, started teaching at the university, and became the editor of one of the most important cultural magazines in our country. Her husband is an award-winning writer, apparently very well recognized. It's hard for me to say anything about this as I have no idea about literature. They earn well, do not have and do not want children, and basically lead a carefree lifestyle completely different from ours. They have lots of friends from their literary academic circle, consider these friends family, and go several times a week to various author meetings, galas, gallery openings, and God knows what else. From what I've gathered, they are also much more progressive and liberal than I am. For example, they divide all their chores and bills 50-50, and they have a mixed gender group of friends. Anna is friends with men and her husband with women, which I always considered inappropriate in a serious relationship. Buddy, you had me for such a long time until the misogynistic, sexist stuff started in. Now I'm kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. My wife invited Anna and her husband for dinner because she really wanted me to meet them. She hoped we would both start going to all these cultural events with them. They were very polite and respectful and didn't comment in any way on the differences in our lifestyles, but dinner was nevertheless quite tiresome for me as I didn't have any common topics with them. My wife knows that I don't share her passion for literature, just as she doesn't share my interest in technology. But this has never been an issue in our marriage. We traveled together, went on bike trips, went to our favorite restaurants and movies, etc. I didn't understand why she suddenly wants this change. Anna started taking my wife to some of the literary events organized by her magazine and also invited her to write a couple of reviews for a column she is running. She apparently sees great potential in my wife and appreciates her insight, which my wife accepted with great joy. I was torn. On the one hand, I was happy that my wife didn't feel alone and that she had something to do when the kids are at school or with their friends. On the other hand, I was afraid that I was losing my wife, that she would turn into someone else under Anna's influence. I was also afraid that other men will hit on her at the events Anna invites her to, even though my wife repeats that all of Anna's friends know that she is married and a mother. They never cross any boundaries and always speak of her family with respect. Okay, so you've brought up these concerns, you've been assured that they're not concerns, and yet you still don't trust your wife. Got it. I finally told my wife that I was uncomfortable with her friendship with Anna, that I was afraid this relationship would change her for the worse, and that she would no longer care about our marriage and children. I said that I can't forbid her to do anything. but I'd bet you'd like to, wouldn't you? But that I would feel much better if she didn't go to all these events with Anna and if she didn't accept an offer to write reviews for her magazine. My wife said that the friendship with Anna is very important to her, that she had been feeling depressed lately, spending most of the day at home all alone, and that contact with people with whom she can talk about things she's passionate about has made her feel significantly better. I promised to her that I will work less and that I will spend more time with her. I also repeated that I cannot forbid her to see Anna and her friends, but that this friendship really makes me uncomfortable. Again with the F word, forbid. I would like to see the day a man forbade me to do anything. Do y'all feel them coming? Do you feel them brewing? She was sad, but understood me and said that she will stop spending time with Anna. So your wife finally feels happy, has a life outside of you and the children, and you just had to stomp all over it like the little dick man that you are? Yesterday, I talked to my older brother, whose advice I always appreciate about the situation. He said that me and my wife married really young and that it's understandable she might feel like she's missing out on things outside family life. He also said that the only way to make sure that my wife is with me because she really loves me and not because she's just stuck with me and has no other options is to give her freedom to spend time with other people, even though it makes me uncomfortable, because I don't have 100% control over her in those situations. Sorry, that was my ad lib. But like y'all heard it too, right? It really made me think and question my own behavior. I really don't want to be a person who limits my wife's freedom like I just did. But I also don't want to be tempting fate in order to see if she really loves me. In other words, I don't think she really loves me and she'll leave my fucking controlling ass the second she can. It would break my heart to lose her, and maybe deep inside, I feel like she would leave me if she had any other options, so I don't want her to have these options. I feel like shit. Am I the a-hole? Just go ahead.
You fucking tiny little man. You just stomped all over the first bit of fun that your wife has had that didn't include you or your crotch goblins in 14 years. I'm not here for it. That's why you feel like shit, because you are shit.
Let's see what Reddit has to say. You are the a-hole. Listen to your brother. Your kids are 12 and 14. Right? Ages where they will start needing mom less and less as time goes on. Your wife is still so young and has so much life ahead of her. Why not let her pursue writing? Yeah, you told her she couldn't write for this column. Why? Give me one good goddamn reason why she can't work under your thumb. She needs to have an interest outside of your children in the home so that she doesn't die of boredom. You're worried way too much about this, and it comes off as you being afraid of losing control over her. Ding, ding, ding. Because you're insecure, not because of anything she might do. A surefire way to make your wife lose respect for you is by telling her that she cannot do something that makes her feel fulfilled or that brings her joy because it might make her question her love for you. Again, listen to your brother, period. It's kind of fucked up that he gave you such good advice and you're still questioning things, honestly. Yeah, at least one of you has some goddamn sense. The next comment says, I agree, but not just listen to your brother, listen to your wife. She told OP the same thing, but apparently her experience and feelings are not as valid as his brother's observations. That says a lot about OP. Yeah, you need to get a motherfucking grip immediately. I'm surprised she's put up with your shit this long because I'm fed up already and it's been 4 minutes of this. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for leaving my fiance after I learned there were strippers at her bachelorette party? If that was a line that y'all wrote down in your relationship, then I get it. I get it. For me, it would not be a relationship ender, but like that's me and my personality, and things that trigger me are not things that trigger everyone else. So I get it. I get it. I, 29 male, and my ex-fiance, 29 female, were together for 5 years. We should have been married now in the normal conditions, but I broke up with her and canceled the wedding 2 days before it because they invited male strippers to the bachelorette party. I am personally not a fan of these parties, but reluctantly agreed after both groom and bride side confirmed we would keep it simple. I told my ex-fiance I am not comfortable with strippers or other kinds of crazy things. She agreed. I also told my friends if they were to do a stupid thing without me knowing, we would have problems. Okay, so that was definitely a line that was drawn prior. Expectations were set in advance. We stayed at my friend's summer house and chilled there by the pool, did some WoW raids, and played board games. My ex-fiance and her friends went to a restaurant, then rented an Airbnb. There was no problem during the night, and the next day I asked how things went. She and her close friends said it was really chill and good. We returned to the city center after that. I encountered another bridesmaid that day when I was shopping for a bracelet for my ex-fiance for her upcoming birthday. I asked that girl how's everything, as we were in the same department at the college but rarely talk now. She is closer with my fiance than me. She said it's going good, and last night was crazy with all the strippers. After saying that, she looked uncomfortable. I asked her about the details, but she was not willing to tell much. I think she realized she should not have talked about it. I laughed, said goodbye, and left. I would say he's being a bit controlling, but like this was a condition that he set. He said he would not be comfortable with it. And it's honestly not an outrageous thing to be uncomfortable with. He didn't say, no, you cannot hang out with those girls alone without me. He said no strippers, nothing crazy. And y'all are really like going against his wishes, and now y'all are lying about it. So I'm kind of seeing where he's coming from with this one. I confronted my fiance and she seemed surprised about it. She was denying it first, then told me nothing crazy happened and one of the bridesmaids invited strippers. I reminded her that it was a strict boundary for me. I asked about the details, but she said there was nothing much with strippers, just solo dances and that's it. I told her I need some time to think. Almost all of the bridesmaids messaged me ensuring nothing happened when I was on my way back home. Definitely not coordinated. Things happened after that, but in the end, I decided to break up and cancel the wedding. I lost some money since it was only 2 days before the wedding. Things are not cool right now. My head is messed up. I get criticism from everyone and no idea about what to do. My sister told me to see a therapist to process my thoughts and feelings. That is what I'll do next. Some mutuals suggested me that I should reconsider things and stop being so whiny about such a small thing. I do not think it's such a small thing, especially when they all tried to hide it from me. Am I the a-hole here? Yeah, no. Not only did she do the thing behind your back that you explicitly asked her not to do, okay? Betrayal number 1. She then lied about it. Betrayal number 2. Then you found out from someone else and she continued to lie about it. Betrayal number 3. Do you think I, for one goddamn second, think that they have told this man everything that happened that night that needs to be said? No. Absolutely not. They have not. They are still lying. I wouldn't marry that either. Nope, not the a-hole. Let's see what Reddit has to say. This says, this happens a lot. Some people think that cheating in the bachelorette party is correct. It's so dumb. Yeah, 100%. Don't trust this bitch. Do not get married to her. I don't blame you. Go with your gut. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments. And let's go on to the next story. This says, updates. Am I the a-hole for leaving my fiance after I learned there were strippers at her bachelorette party? So we get to see how this cookie has crumbled. I read most of the comments in the original post and thank you for the advice. My problem was not her being blindsided by her friends, but lying. Every bridesmaid told different things and none of them gave details about what happened. I believe you can understand it just shatters the trust and makes you think there is something going on. I thought there was something wrong with me after reading the comments. There were a lot of "you are were the a-holes and I thought I should apologize. One of the bridesmaids reached out to me last evening. I suspect she saw the post somewhere and recognized it. I knew my fiance was having problems with her friends since last week, but I did not know the extent. Apparently, my ex-fiance and her close friends blamed the girl that I encountered at the mall for everything. This divided the group and led into a verbal fight. I will skip the personal details here, but in the end, she told my ex-fiance and other bridesmaids got sexual with the strippers. My fiance was the only one who had a boyfriend or fiance or spouse, at least monogamously, there to my knowledge. Also, I was told by her that my ex-fiance was not blindsided by the stripper invites. She was happy to see the strippers and was relieved she had an excuse. I do not have proof for all of these, but I got a short video of girls making out with strippers. One of the girls is my ex-fiance, and that's enough. Holy guacamole. That canceled wedding is looking better and better by the second, ain't it, old boy? She has been trying to reach out to me since we broke up. I confronted her again. At first, she denied it again. Oh, you mean the liar lied some more? And then it became, we just touched. Then, okay, we kissed too. Okay, I gave him a hand job. Finally, I was coerced into doing these by others as I was pressed on. I just blocked her after that last part. I did not see any need to learn further. I was hurt already, but learning that I got cheated on hurt more. I am not sure if it's the full truth. Even now, I will never know, but all I can say is it hurts. I will go to a therapist to not carry my luggage to my next relationship. I lost $15,000 from the wedding related things and need to focus on filling the hole for a while. Some misogynists made weird comments about women and I'll just ignore them. Some of the people told me I am insecure, unfunny nerd for playing WoW on my bachelor party. Isn't the whole point of bachelor parties having one last fun? It was raiding non-stop with the boys for me, not having one last sexual interaction with a stranger or having a stranger's butt on my face or penis. I will not miss out on these during marriage anyway, omitting the stranger part. That's it. It's therapy time tomorrow, and thank you for all the help. I am so glad he went with his gut because clearly it was correct all along. Let's see what Reddit has to say. I will never understand why people like your ex-fiance throw it all away for one night. Because they do, Nick says, because they do not want to be married. They want to have that special day and be the center of attention. They want the wedding but not the marriage. She belongs to the streets. I mean, I know a lot of people like that. They're all like, oh my God, I can't wait to plan my wedding. Who's the groom again? It didn't matter. It could be Tom, Dick, or Harry as long as they got their wedding. Last says this: if a woman spends more time on the wedding than how the marriage will work, you have a problem. 100% would have to agree. I say, once again, he's not the a-hole. I would like to know what you all think about this update, and let's get on to the next story. This says, am I the a-hole for disowning my adoptive son since he chose his people over us? Yikes. I don't really know what that means, but it sounds messy and hurtful as hell, so let's just get right into it. I know this title is a bit weird, but this is the best way I found to translate what was said. Obligatory apologies for bad grammar. English is not my first language. I, male 44, my husband is male 40, been married for 20 years, together for 22, and our adoptive son is 24. He's black and we're not. I'm only mentioning this because it's relevant to the story later. This does not take place in the US. Let me give a little bit of background to the situation. About 19 years ago, me and my husband had been driving on a highway back from a small vacation, went along a particularly long stretch of road, absolutely no buildings around, only a ton of grass and hills as far as the eye could see. We spotted a little boy just sitting by the side of the road. Like I mentioned, there was nothing around for miles and no cars close to where the boy was, so we decided to stop and see if everything was okay. When we got closer to the boy, let's call him Jason, fake name, it was very easy to see he was dirty and malnourished since the only thing he had on were some diapers. He was so small, it didn't look like he could be older than 3, but we later found out he was actually 5. We asked him why he was alone, and he told us that mommy and daddy put him here and told him to wait. There was no cell signal in the area, so we did the sensible thing and brought him back to town to the nearest police station. To make a long story short, CPS was called. We discovered his parents were some druggies that were on the run from a felony. The only other relative Jason had was his grandmother, who was very mentally ill and couldn't take care of him, and we felt bad. He went into foster care soon after, but we felt bad for the kid and kept in touch with his caseworker. I had, still do, an extremely well-paying job at the time and could easily afford a decent lifestyle for a small family. So after a few months of discussion between ourselves, the caseworker, and some bureaucracy, we formally adopted Jason. Now onto the situation. About 3 years ago, Jason's parents were released from prison on parole. They contacted him not long after in hopes of reconnecting. Prior to that, they'd sent him a few odd letters here or there, but nothing really substantial. At first, he was hesitant to talk to them, but ended up caving and meeting them for lunch one day. I'll admit that a part of me was a bit jealous and apprehensive of what could happen, but I could see that it really was something that my son wanted to do, so for his sake, I swallowed those and supported him through it. Wasn't very long, about 3 months I think, that he started to pull away from us. At first, I chalked it up to him being excited to actually talk to his bio parents after so long, talk about what had been going on in his life, spend some time with them, etc. It started to bother me when he'd cancel plans with us last minute because mom had an emergency, or dad really needs me to help him with something today, or whatever other excuse he could come up with. He used to come over to our house at least once a week, call every day or so, but now we were lucky if he even came by that month. Again, I thought that was just temporary, that he was just excited, and soon enough, he'd start spending some time with us again. We were overjoyed when he invited us over to dinner one night. It was supposed to be a family gathering, us and his bio parents and his wife, girlfriend at the time. I wasn't exactly keen on meeting the people that had left my son for dead on the side of the road, but decided to give them the benefit of the doubt, thinking maybe they'd atoned and changed. Besides, he's our son and we love him. We had to at least try. To say the dinner was a disaster is an understatement. His bio mom was extremely rude to me and my husband the entire night, making passive-aggressive, homophobic, and racist remarks every chance she got. His father was much the same. It all came to a head when she straight up called us the F word and threw a glass at my husband. A screaming match followed and we left soon after. The next day, Jason apologized profusely and promised they'd never do something like that again. I told him neither me and my husband wanted to have anything to do with them and would appreciate if he understood that. He seemed to, but continued to pull away the next few months. And that leads to what happened last week. Jason proposed to his girlfriend about 9 months back and has been preparing for the wedding since. Of course, we were overjoyed for him, but a few months went by and no invitation came. Every time we asked, Jason would say they hadn't been sent out yet and changed the subject. Well, last week, my husband saw a Twitter post from one of Jason's friends, his groomsmen, that went a few weeks back with the invitation in hand. We confronted Jason about it the next time he came over, only for him to drop the bomb on us that we hadn't been invited. We asked why, and he said his parents didn't want us there and wouldn't come if we did. I was fucking furious. I asked him how he could choose those pieces of trash over us. Why were they so important? What did we do to deserve this kind of treatment? His answer, they understand me better. They're my people. Druggies understand you better. Felons are your people. Right, they understand you better. That's why they understood that they should leave a 5-year-old who was as little as a 3-year-old on the side of the road to just be picked up by fucking vultures eventually. At this point, my husband was crying, asking how he could do this. I've only ever truly been angry a few times in life, and this moment managed to top them all. I threw him out right then and there and told him to never come back, that he wasn't our son anymore. I spent the rest of the day hugging my husband and trying to calm him down. The next day, I canceled everything we'd paid for the wedding, which was basically everything important, even the ones we couldn't get a refund on. Of course, Jason had the gall to call and scream at me, asking how I could do that to him. Where would he find replacements for a wedding that was supposed to happen only a few months from now? I told him I didn't give a shit and said, maybe you should ask those 2 leeches you call parents for some help. 19 years. 19 fucking years of my goddamn life spent raising and loving a kid that I considered my own son, only to be treated like garbage, giving blood, sweat, and tears so he would have a good life, all the love we could possibly give, and that's what we get as a reward. As for why I'm asking if I'm the a-hole, some people have been calling and messaging us, mostly Jason's friends and a few of our family members, calling us heartless and monsters for doing what we did to him. And that's honestly got me questioning if I went a bit too far in anger. After all, parents are supposed to love unconditionally, right? But if so, how do we ever get over something like this? How can we deal with this feeling of betrayal as are we justified in feeling like that? So am I the a-hole? Sorry. I'm not invited to the wedding. I'm not paying for the wedding. This isn't like you decided to change locations and now I can't come, so I'm not paying for anything. No, you straight up said my gay parents who have raised me for 19 years cannot come to my wedding because the crackheads that left me on the side of the road to get eaten by fucking birds, they're back in my life and they don't like the gays. So I guess, the gays, they can fund my wedding, but I don't want their gayness in my wedding because that would upset my real parents. That's fucking bullshit. No, you're not the a-hole. I would have canceled all that shit too. Glad your ass thought of that real fast because that's exactly what he deserved. He's a 24-year-old fucking grown-up, okay? He's not a little 16-year-old boy. He's a grown-ass man acting like a little fucking child, and now he's gonna have grown-ass man consequences. There's a couple edits. I've added a comment for further clarification of a few points I've seen asked in the comments and my PMs. Please refer to that if you have any questions. Edit 2, I'm seeing quite a few racist comments in this post, and to the people that are making them, I have this to say: fuck you, fuck off with that rhetoric. I do not appreciate and would rather if you guys left. Okay, let's see what Reddit has to say. Not the a-hole. Did he seriously expect you to pay for a wedding you weren't even fucking invited to? The goddamn audacity of it has my blood boiling. Next says, learning it from his new parents. He's learning leeching from some of the best. And the last says, yeah, let's see how long the wife stays when she realizes all her money is going to be her mooches. I mean in-laws. Or when they move in because they can't afford their rent. Yeah, I can't wait for this to go exactly where it was always meant to go, and that's down the gutter. I would like to know what you all think about that one in the comments. Don't forget, we have a playlist of almost 300 Am I the A-hole videos up here that you can binge. Please don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!